Then he showed them how by application. We have to learn to do the same thing and teach other young ministers and pastors that it's not only what we say, but what we convey.
Yes, and I just like to interject
Yes,
here
sir.
because when you said which comes first, in missions, and that's the thing about the Master Circle. We truly believe that missions is a subset of the evangelistic aspects, and we work with organizations, and one of the things that we're trying to do in that regard, which is unique in the Master Circle, is that we have chosen missions and youth achievement and development and community development as our two key areas of focus, not only in terms of what people do in the field, but recognizing them on an annual basis. We have just, in our first Holy Convocation, developed perpetual awards for achievement in missions as well as in youth and community development. And every year at our annual Holy Convocation, there will be an honoree and a recipient, and there is monetary and other benefits associated with these rewards. Unfortunately, the Youth Development Director, Overseer Javon Billups, could not make it today. And we are fortunate to have our missions director with us today. But applications as of today, and I'd like to say this at this point if it's appropriate, if you know someone that is a viable candidate for work that should be recognized in the area of youth achievement and community development or in missions, and when we say missions, either domestically or internationally, and as I said, from an evangelistic and as a caring perspective. We want you to know, as of today, you can call our presiding bishop and ask for an application to nominate that individual. Nominations are open now from today until the 31st of July. The Holy Convocation will be in the August time frame, where the final honorees or the recipients will be announced at that particular gala.
And one thing I like to iterate is that one of the awards is the Barry Copeland Youth Award for all his achievement that he has done over the years in working with the youth. And for the international missions is for the Archbishop Grant B. Williams for our Apostolic Ministries Award, that for people who are working and implementing mission work, either domestic and abroad.
Yes.
You mentioned Archbishop Grant Williams.
Yes.
This is the flyer that I'm holding here. I'm looking at the perpetual chairs of Apostolic Ministries and Mission.
Yes.
And this award was established in 2009.
Yes.
And I'm familiar with Bishop Grant and Lady-elect Alberta Williams.
Yes,
Yes.
Wonderful people.
Yeah. I have the distinction of working with Bishop Grant on both sides of the fence.
Yeah.
He was my boss when we both were in the world.
Amen.
Living in the world.
Yes.
Yeah.
Amen.
Really living in the world.
Yes.
And then he was my boss in his overseas ministry.
Yes.
And I had the good fortune of going on 2 overseas trips with him, one to South Africa and another one to Guinea.
Yes.
And if you know of anyone, like the bishops have said, anyone that you feel is deserving of being recognized for their work in mission, domestic and foreign. And as I talk now, I'm thinking about a lady, her and her husband, and they just pull up stakes and now they're living in Guyana, and they've been there for South America, and they've been there for a couple of years. So there are a lot of unsung heroes out there that is doing the work.
And we need to demonstrate that by recognizing these warriors, and that others may see and share in what they are doing. So starting today, please, Bishop Wilson, if you'd give them your telephone number.
They can reach to apply for the Barry Copeland Youth Award and the Grant B. Williams and elect Lady Alberta Williams Foreign Mission Award for Apostolic Ministry. They can contact us by dialing 301-996-6260. Once again, it's 301-996-6260.
For those of you that may be just joining us, this is the Ask Reverend Lee Gospel Program. It's normally a question and answer forum, but today I have the Master Circle Christian Fellowship International, the leadership board, here with me, and they are informing us of their vision and their goals and how the Lord is leading them to reach out for the spread of the gospel, particularly in the small churches. How do we intend to collectively use the services that a group of churches can provide as opposed to individual churches?
Well, there are many ways that they can provide. First of all, if they like to participate, they can contact us by the number that was given, and they can also become a part of the Master Circle. I believe Bishop Garner, Brian Garner, has the information that he can convey to share with them about their participation.
Okay. I can remember when I went to South Africa with Bishop Williams, Archbishop Williams. It was my first overseas trip, and it was my first encounter with something called provide your own support.
Yes.
Yeah. See, now, a lot of people don't realize that most missionaries provide their own support.
Yes.
Especially if you're coming from a small church. I know my church wasn't able to send me. They did what they could, but I had to solicit. And I can tell you now, it would have certainly been helpful had I had some support to where I could go and do God's work without worry.
Yes, and let me just interject some, and that's where we can do more together than we can as individuals. For instance, on several of the mission trips that we have supported, if you're not going individually, you can always support financially.
Yes.
So, and we are looking at ways, and being a fellowship, we host a number of viable resources. We have had just in the past 3 or 4 months encountered several groups that are working on funding projects for churches. And they bring them in, and we don't say that one is the best funding approach for any group of individuals, but selectively it may be appropriate for certain needs as we look at funding in this tight economy. I just came out of a meeting just last week where there's an ecumenical group who is forming the knowledge of teaching churches, groups of churches, how to form investment funds. We have a lot of small churches that don't qualify to get funds from banks, for instance, that they can now the church will be creating its own funding resources that we can go to our brothers and sisters and we can support, again, that common objective, kingdom building.
And also, there will be, if there's anyone who would like to donate to the mission work through the Master Circle,